Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Heart First. My name's Ifoma.
And I am Jess. Welcome.
so,
Oh my
so,
gosh.
so, I'm excited about today's episode because it's definitely not what we normally do, but we both are huge fans of watching Love is Blind. So if you're not a reality
Yes.
person or anybody who even cares, then this may not be the episode for you, and that's okay. But for us, we're
Or,
like so
or,
excited.
or I just had to blurt out, or maybe this is a reality show you would actually love if you want to give it a try. Because even if you don't normally watch reality shows, the whole concept of Love is Blind is pretty phenomenal, I think, you know?
It's fascinating to me. Like, you take these literal strangers, put them in this experiment where you can't see. This is just like the synopsis of what it is for those of you who've never watched it. They put these people in pods. There's a wall between them, male and female. That's what they're doing right now. Woman, man. Um, and they get to know each other and they talk. And there's like 15 men and 15 women, and they all interdate or interchange, and they get to weed out and figure out like who fits best with them. And at the end of like a 2 week period of all of this, they get engaged, and then they have a month to decide if they're going to get married. So after the engagement, there's like a little shindig somewhere tropical usually,
Mm-hmm.
and then they like move into with each other, and they figure out if this can actually work. And it's just, to me, the concept is so fascinating, to like fall in love, or the premise of falling in love without
Yeah,
looking at
because
each other.
basically,
Like, you don't see.
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, it is pretty awesome. It's like you basically, in order to continue on as part of the experiment, you have to be matched. Like one person actually asks the other person to marry them through the wall without ever seeing them, which is like, wow.
It's
Yeah.
wild. Like, is that something, anybody who's listening or watching, is that something that you could do? Like, go, maybe not necessarily a
Could you?
show, but like, could I do it? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean,
Me neither.
I'm happily coupled, and I have been for like 16, 17 years now. But like, I love the idea of it because this is what I love about being a human. I love talking to people. I love getting to know their stories, like what made them who they are, undercover. Like, I love to go deep with people, so to like really what the thick of it, like what makes us all tick. So I love it for that aspect. I love getting to know people. I myself am a very direct person. What you see is what you get. What I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. Unless if there's like huge red flags. And it's really easy for me to discern characters or like human beings off the bat. So I guess for
Yeah.
me, I could do it and I would know like what I'm looking for and whatnot. But then also, I don't know. I don't know. The whole concept fascinates me. I don't know if I could fully do it,
Yeah.
but I could do like the getting
And
to
it's
know
not
people
called,
part would be fun
it's
for
not,
me.
yeah, it's not called friendship at first sight, as Nick Lachey
I
points
know. I
out.
know. I
Otherwise, it
like
would
the
be way
friendship at first
easier.
sight. For sure, the
That I could
friendship
do.
at first
That
sight
would
I
be
could totally.
awesome.
Yeah, same.
I would never do this show. Plus, everyone
But
really
I
wants to
do.
get married. Like that's like the whole. They're all like that. I have difficulty relating to that personally, but I know that's pretty common. I guess people who really want to be married. You know.
Yeah, no, and I don't, for me personally, like I knew throughout my life that I was going to find somebody to marry. Like I knew my person was out there. But when I
Mm-hmm.
was dating, I met my person on Match.com. So like it was
Oh yeah.
in the early stages of the internet and dating sites, and it was actually very taboo. Like I remember my father being like, Ifama, you do not meet people on the internet, they could be killers, blah blah blah. And like now look at our society and look at social media where everybody's meeting
Right.
everybody. So
Yeah.
dating has changed so much, obviously, since I have been out there. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I would try it, because who knows how the dating pool is now, how people are.
People are
It's
people are
just,
so exhausted. People are so exhausted by it now, though. It's coming back to the old
Yeah.
school ways, yeah, which I totally appreciate. With I'm sure you have like me, many friends who have been on the dating scene. They're like so exhausted by online dating. Like, sounds awful.
Ugh, I can only imagine.
Mm,
I can only imagine. Uh, but the show, I guess if I was in that situation and you're like exhausting all other options and possibilities and
yeah,
whatnot, I could see myself being like, hey, why not? Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Going with the
yeah.
flow. Because it's, to me, it feels, it's not the same as The Bachelor because you can obviously see everybody, you get a feel, whatnot. But like to me, energy speaks louder than anything, you know?
Totally,
And if you have really beautiful soul and really beautiful energy and you can be vulnerable, like that I appreciate more so than what somebody looks like, because you can be the hottest person in the world and still be a
totally.
schmuck, like still just not be
Of
somebody
course.
that you even want to be around because
Yeah,
of their personality. So
yeah.
on that level,
But
yes. But
and
okay,
speaking of
go ahead.
yeah, speaking of beautiful souls, there are I feel there are so many beautiful souls on this season. I mean, I'm just like
Yeah,
loving everybody. Like even those who I'm like, oh
yeah.
gosh, why did like there's a few of like but I like see their beauty, like they're I'm like,
Exactly.
oh, I like have so much compassion. Like there's no I can't think of one like total asshole on this season or like player like trying to like
Yeah,
everyone seems like a whole like a sweet soul.
they seem genuine for where they are on their journey of life, you know?
Yes,
Um
says teacher
that's like
Ifoma. Yeah,
no,
completely.
not even
For
trying
where
to
they
do that,
are
but
on their
like
journey. No, no, I know, I know. I agree. I totally agree.
cuz because
Yeah.
this is the thing that I, and you've seen it with some seasons. Well, one, I have to say, I freaking love seeing all these men be super vulnerable, cry, like be in their
Mm-hmm.
feels, because we need more of our masculine brothers to be okay with emoting and being feeling and like expressing that because it's safe for you to do so, you know, despite what society has said up until now. So that to
Totally.
me is like such, so heartwarming and such a joy. um
Mm-hmm.
and like these
That just
women,
made
some of these
me.
women are badasses.
Oh my God. But that when you said heartwarming guys, I mean, I love everyone who are like my favorite, just to say from this, I don't have like
Yeah,
favorite, but as soon as you said like the guys who are so open, I'm like Trevor and how much he is
I
into
knew it because
Chelsea.
he's mine too.
Right? He's like a
I
teddy
love
bear.
Trevor.
I'm like, I don't know what happens in the next episodes, but I'm like, they are going to get in my heart of hearts. I'm like, he and Chelsea, like they had something special and he's so, I don't, she's a whole other thing, but like, he is so
Yes.
loving and he's so like, you're the one for me. And I know you're going to pick me.
Yep.
Like he's so like secure. And I'm like, that is divine masculine and feminine, like balanced.
Yes, exactly. So what we're talking about are seasons 1 through 6. Today, right
Yeah.
now, it's Wednesday the
Episodes 1 through
21st,
6.
and
Yeah.
the next, yeah, episodes 1 through 6, and the next 6 episodes will be dropped on Netflix today. But we were just excited to talk
Mm-hmm.
about this because it's something that we really look forward to, and I don't know, it's just so fun to like watch other people's journey of them. And I'm such a hopeless romantic at heart, so I think that's part of the tie-in for me too. It's like watching people fall in love on their journeys, which is just
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful and so magical. Trevor is absolutely, like, if I had to pick a favorite, he would be my favorite for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
it's so funny.
sure.
We both have. Of
And
course, we have the same favorite. Of course, we do.
for women, my favorite, I don't remember, Jessica.
Oh,
That is her
Jessica.
name.
Of course, she's also my favorite. I'm like she's too
She's
much for Jimmy. She's way too like confident. Like set. It's the same. Like she's owning it. I mean, yeah. Sorry. The same, but the same. I'm like she and Jimmy. That he was so afraid of that. He was so afraid of that commitment, and like her,
Y-
in my opinion, you know, like she's such
yeah,
a badass.
totally.
She like open, confident, like so giving, and she. Well, I guess I did see previews. It's not over yet, but
I haven't
um,
seen any of the, or I don't
oh,
remember
just
the
at
previews because
just
I
yeah,
finished watching.
at the very sorry at the very end of the first 6 episodes. There's like a it says for this. I haven't seen the next ones, but
Oh,
basically they you know how sometimes they get to meet the people who they didn't choose.
yeah.
So
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
that's where the drama starts to ensue. The drama starts
I
to ensue.
guess.
So you have right now we're working with 5 different couples who have all proposed, gotten engaged. They're in this lovey-dovey space. They're whisked away to where are they? The
I think they're in
I
DR.
don't
I
know
think
where
they're in
they are.
Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic, I think.
Okay, that's what. So they're
Yeah.
in the DR right now, and they're all like, that honeymoon stage when you're just enamored with the person. There could be no wrong. You're cuddling, you're snuggling, you're doing
Mm-hmm.
all the things that you want to do to like know each other, I suppose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start to mix with the other, so the men don't see any of the other women until they get to the tropical island place, and so they see the
Mm-hmm.
other couples, right? And so then they're mixing together and their dynamics are working, and then sometimes that, because they all essentially dated each other, if you will, through the pods,
Mm-hmm.
but then they picked their person, so now they're seeing the other people who they didn't pick. And then sometimes when you see, this is where it gets interesting to me, because when you're not looking
Mm.
at somebody and you're just going off of voice and energy and vibration and like the stories that match up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be very easy to fall in love with somebody, but then when you see somebody physically, there's that, I don't know, is it like a primal, what is that? Is that a
And
primal
like
instinct? Is that
expressions.
ego?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Like
when
yeah.
people are seeing other people physically, they're like, oh, like it's almost like they're second guessing, and or I don't know. It's just fascinating to me to watch that part take over. It's like
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
animalistic
yeah.
almost to me.
Yeah, no, it is. But this, I feel like in this season, at least so far, again, we're just up to episode 6, end of episode 6. Um, I feel like when they meet each other, at least in this season, because I know on previous seasons it's not always the case. I feel like everyone except for one person is very happy with when they first meet each other, at least physically. They're like attracted,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, totally.
And you know what I'm gonna say, except for Jimmy
Yep.
with the Megan
Jimmy.
Fox bullshit, that comment.
I know, I'm like, you could have just left that. You didn't have to tell the whole world that you thought that she lied. Okay, so Jimmy and Chelsea. Chelsea is this
Yeah.
very sweet
Mm.
soul, who
Insecure,
is
very insecure.
very insecure.
So
She's a
insecure.
very sweet soul, though, who
Yeah,
is pursued by both Trevor and Jimmy. I personally think Trevor was a way better fit for her, because I think people who are
totally.
super insecure like her, like, they need somebody who's just going to love them regardless and help them to heal that. If you're going to be partnered up with
Hmm.
somebody, if you're not going to do the work by yourself, the partner that you find should really be supportive and loving you through these stages, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if Jimmy can do that.
N-
I guess
I
we'll
don't think
see.
he can. What interestingly enough, I don't know if you agree with this. For me, I felt like he also needs so much validation. Like how many times did he say just, every you tell me you love me, tell me you love me. I feel like they both need a shit ton of validation that Jessica would have given him.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know.
It,
Like she could have lifted him up to be this. I think he was terrified of her, but he definitely like wanted her. Like their conversations were
oh,
different
I
level.
agree.
I felt, yeah.
I 100% agree. And this is what also is fascinating about this whole experiment to me. It's like, if you're really taking the walls down, not the physical wall that's between them, but the wall of not knowing what you look like and letting yourself go in
Yeah.
deep. It's just like it's like the same it's a different end of the spectrum of the keyboard warriors that we have, the trolls that you have just coming and attacking people on the internet. They can do so because they have the safety of not having to be seen because they are creating fake accounts, right? So stay with me on
Yep.
this. The same thing in the pods is like they have this safety because you're not able to view physically. For some reason that makes us as humans feel safer, I guess. And I
Mm-hmm.
so agree with you. I feel like our souls innately know, like Jimmy's soul innately knew that Jessica would have been the better match. But his ego, the fear space,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely
Yeah.
took over and went with Chelsea, who would have been the safer choice because Chelsea
Yeah.
was more submissive and wasn't going to um call him out on areas that he
Exactly.
needed to grow. So he's wanting to stay safe in his little comfort zone of
Mm-hmm.
familiarity and not push himself to grow. Which is again funny about this whole experiment because Jimmy and Jessica ultimately would have been, to me, a better match because Jessica, like you said,
Totally.
would have helped him grow, pulled that out of
Mm-hmm.
him, challenged him. And then
And then I
what's his
felt,
name, Trevor. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, sorry. And then I also, I kind of felt like with Chelsea, he chose her too, also because it would be like she doesn't have a child. So like there, it's so much lighter, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the traveling thing. He's never traveled out of the country before this honeymoon. You know, I feel like, and I felt for him in that way. I'm like, maybe he just wants to, you know, it is a huge responsibility. So like, I kind
Mm.
of was feeling for, you know what I mean? Like that is a completely different reality when he asked her, like, describe your day. And I remember I saw his expressions or something where she was describing, you know, making breakfast for her daughter, and everything really revolved around her daughter and her, you know, it was not that exciting the
Mm-hmm.
day. I don't know if that struck me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I wonder if he's thinking, where do I fit into that? She's not really talking about what we're going to do. She's just talking about her day. Do you know what I mean? Like
No,
I
I
could see,
totally get that. And I think,
I could feel that pressure. Maybe he felt.
of course, yeah. And on some level, that is pressure because some people
Yeah.
are not ready to be a parent to somebody
Yeah.
else's child. Like, they're all
Exactly.
relatively young, like early
Mm-hmm.
30s, in their
She's
20s, even mid to
Jessica's
late 20s.
27 and she has a yeah, she's 27. She must have had her daughter when she was 17. I mean, she literally like super
Yeah.
young with so I'm just thinking for him that that kind of made me feel like, oh, it's I feel like since that conversation he shifted, you know.
No,
But
totally. I do, I feel for him because sometimes like that, and I don't know. There's like a big debate online about whether or not Jessica should have been upfront for date one. Hey, I have a kid.
what
You know what I mean? But then I also,
oh
what? There's like
no
a
no no
debate of
I
other people talking.
oh
There's a lag between you and I.
oh shit. I'm sorry. I don't know why that is.
No, don't be sorry. I'm just like trying to, like, we're fine. I'm just letting you know that if there's a lag. Okay, but like there's a debate online with Jessica if she should have revealed that she had a kid right away. And like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd want to know, but I'm also a very different breed of human where I can roll the punches, be like, okay, anyways, like let's
Yeah.
move on. Like
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. I I totally understand why she didn't and feel like that I would have I don't know if I were her I probably wouldn't have said at the first date either, you know, because you don't want to you want the person to get to know you. Like I felt like that made sense, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I truly feel
Yeah.
Jimmy didn't pick her only because the two reasons: the kid, her having a daughter, and the fact that she challenged him so wildly.
Yeah.
He's not ready for her.
I know. I wish. I
But
wish he was.
I am so excited to see the next 6 episodes to see what happens when they
Yeah.
all meet because I don't know. The fact that even when Jimmy and Chelsea were together, like in Dominican Republic, he was talking about Jessica, like he just could not stop talking about her. Do you
Yeah.
remember? And
Mhm.
like trying to figure
Yeah.
out, like he was processing
Yeah.
for sure, but it almost feels like a part of him that might not be conscious was like, did I make the right decision? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that Megan Fox comment really bothered me. Like just first of all, she does definitely have something Megan Fox-ish in her smile with her eyes, and
Yes.
she definitely does.
Yes.
As soon as she said it, you knew which celebrity she was going to say. And I feel, this is my feeling, which could be totally wrong, obviously. Like, I feel like when he saw her, he like almost had this idea, because even Jessica made some comment when she broke up with him about, oh, you're going to miss me, you'll regret this, and basically insinuating how hot she is. So like, I feel like this is just my intuition, and what my feeling, like when he saw her. And by the way, she's fucking gorgeous. Like
She
so
is.
beautiful. Like so beautiful. But I feel like for him, he had this image in his head because of that comment. And I feel like because he's not that mature, or there's, he's got growing to do or whatever, his own stuff, I don't know. Like, I feel like he had this idea, and like, exactly like you said, now he's kind of like, did I make the right choice? And also, I wonder how much alcohol they drank that last episode 6, where he's just going around saying how wonderful his relationship is. I'm thinking, well, how many drinks has this guy had? Like because he literally is having the same conversation, like saying how fantastic his relationship is, while his significant other is like sitting over there like upset. Anyway,
Totally. Well, that whole scene was hysterical, sad, but then hysterical, because
yeah.
she's starting to spin, right, because of her insecurities. So she's thinking one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like he literally is just going around talking about how wonderful everything is. And I'm
I
like,
know.
oh my gosh, I wish you could hear how
Totally.
much he's like gassing you up. He's like bragging about you. He loves you, right?
Yeah.
Like, that like broke my
Totally.
heart.
Yeah,
But it
I'm
was
like,
like
they're
also
living on.
wild.
Oh my god.
It was like wild to see the juxtaposition of it all. I'm like, well, the what? This is like
Yeah.
producer gold.
No, totally. And then his comment about AD, this other beautiful
Oh
woman.
my
And
gosh!
I
Like,
was like,
why would he think that?
did he really just said that? He literally, so there's this other woman, um, AD, I forget what the AD stands for, except for all day, her nickname.
Amber, I know. Clay, all
Is it
day AD.
Desiree? I'm like,
Yeah, I think
AD.
it's Amber Desiree.
Oh, okay. Yeah, anyway, so Jimmy makes this totally out there inappropriate comment about AD's body, saying that she's stacked, like, to his girlfriend who's insecure, his fiance, excuse me, Chelsea. It's like, are you kidding me? And it's just a clumsy, stupid, like, inappropriate thing to say, like, on so many levels, by the way.
Yeah,
Like, so
like,
many levels.
so like I can understand couples who have been together for a long time saying comments like that, because who cares?
Yeah,
Because like I can appreciate
right.
beauty, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like with somebody you're still getting to know, it's like, Jimmy, why? What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
can we go backwards a little bit and talk about
Yeah.
Matthew?
Oh my God, I forgot. I didn't even write his name on my list of people. Oh my God, that was psycho. Although I want to talk about that. Yeah, go ahead. You go, and then I'll go.
Okay. So Matthew is this character. I don't even have any. Let's see if it comes how I can describe him. He is a very tall, like muscular dude. He looks very like straight laced, you know.
Clark Kent.
Yes, perfectly. Button
Look,
up, like his hair slicked
yeah,
back, he has glasses. So he goes in, he's like he's a wealth manager. So he has spreadsheets. He literally goes in with
right.
a papers with a bunch of questions. He had people pick from like 1 through 15 or something like that. Every day he goes in.
Yeah,
He's like, okay, I have a list of questions 1 through 15. So Jessica, one of their dates,
right.
she picks like a number 12, let's say, and like
Yeah.
he asks her the question. She's like, oh, that's da da da. She's like, well, how about you? He literally says, oh, well, that's not how I saw this going. I wasn't going to answer that. That's okay.
And then and then like he walks out on someone else too. Like after her, he walked down on a few people.
He
That was
literally,
wild.
so there was this one woman, Sarah Ann, who was giving a long-winded answer
Oh
to the
yeah,
question that
yeah.
he had asked, and he just literally stands up and
Oh
walks
yeah.
out. And she's like, hello? Hello?
She's like, you can kiss
Like,
my ass or
what?
something.
Yeah, like, so for him, and it's so wild, like, he had even mentioned that he's been in therapy because he's not an excellent communicator. Why he's on this show blows my
I
mind.
don't
Maybe he
know.
wants to
Yeah.
push himself and learn. I don't, in some ways, I don't know. And then he's like, yeah, I even had a conversation about this with my therapist, and she just stopped and looked at me like, you on this show? Like, what? What is happening? It was so wild to see. And so, okay, me, I have like a soft spot in my heart for people like Matthew. Like, I
Yeah.
just kind of want to give them a hug. Like the people who are super awkward in life, like people who just, I just want to like love on them and give them a hug. So like I was silently rooting for him. But then
Yeah.
at the when he went into this whole monologue of like America's watching me, like they love a comeback story and like the underdog. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
what
don't
is
know. I
this?
think there might, yeah, I think there's some psychological term for like I really am not sure what happened because so unless I missed something, which I could have, what I think happened, right? He basically tells AD, one of the women, uh,
Mhm.
like she, like you, responds to his awkwardness. Like they have this rapport, they have this relationship, and they're both opening up to each other, and she's definitely enamored with him, and it seems to be very much mutual. And he basically I mean, it got so personal. Her dad had passed, and like he essentially is like saying that she's the one for him, and at the same time, she's going through stuff with Clay, this guy who she eventually gets
Cl-
engaged to, right? And like it seems so genuine. I think I had tears in my eyes. I thought it was so beautiful. And then I don't know how you feel about this, Imoma, because we never saw footage. There's apparently some other woman whose name I thought was Amber, but I don't know what it is.
yeah,
And
it
he,
is Amber.
right, right, and he was like, apparently, again, they don't show us the tape, right? Or they, I didn't see that. Maybe I missed it. But
No,
apparently, she claims, which I think it's very odd that they don't have the footage or that they didn't show the footage. But apparently,
they
he said
didn't
the same
choose to
thing to,
share it.
right. But it makes me question it in a little bit because I don't know Amber. I don't know this woman. Do you know what I mean? The whole thing is, I really feel like there could be another layer that we're just not being shown. I don't, either he's a liar and was saying the same thing to two women, or not a liar and just said the same thing to two women. I have trouble understanding. Like, just so odd.
I don't know. Like I this is my take on it. I feel
Hmm.
like it's also wildly ironic that they're both named Amber. AD
Yeah.
and then Amber. But
Yeah. I didn't realize
anyways,
that. Yeah.
so what my take on it, because he's because he's not a great communicator and he's very awkward
Hmm.
in that
Hmm.
energy of himself. I mean, he understands it, he knows it, right? He can call it out. That's why he came with spreadsheets, whatever. I think the fact that he was starting to have feelings, like I think he genuinely wants to be with somebody. I think he's genuinely
Yeah.
wanting to have a connection with somebody. I think as he's moving through this experiment and he's starting to connect with two people, what he was saying to one woman was working, and then I think he got
Hmm.
excited because he's like a baby communicator,
Mm.
right? So then
Hmm.
he's like, oh, copy and paste. I'm going to repeat this to the other woman. And so I do believe he said that. I think he
Hmm.
also has the awareness of I'm on TV. I'm not
Right.
here
That
to be
became
a
clear.
C-list celebrity, like he said. And the whole
Right.
monologue of like, people are going to root for an underdog. America is watching me. So he has that awareness of what the outside world is going to perceive. And so I think he lied in the moment. I don't feel like he was
Mm.
accurate when AD called him out on it, because the other woman,
Right.
Amber, told AD in the women room, like where the lounge, I think they call it the lounge. She told
Hmm.
AD, and AD was just like, "Oh." So the other woman had no idea what was going on between AD and Matt.
Right.
Amber
Right.
was
Right. No,
talking
I think your
freely.
analysis. Yeah. Yeah.
And then AD confronts Matt about it, and then Matt goes on this whole monologue tangent thing, and basically says that he just is going to go with Amber. And if you want, I'm just going to say this because it is what it is.
Say it.
I fully believe that the reason he ended up going with the other Amber, because at one point AD's like, how do you feel about ethnicities? So
Right.
not alluding to
Yeah.
the fact that she was a black woman, but setting
Right.
him up so he wasn't going to be completely surprised. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
no, he's fine in the moment, because what do you say to
Mm-hmm.
that? You're not going to say no
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
TV. And
Right.
I think that's part of it. Whether or not that he understands that consciously, I think on a subconscious level, like that was part of it. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know though.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know that. That didn't cross my mind. But now that you
Well, I
say
see
it,
everything through
I
like
mean, yeah, no, no, I know, of course, but yeah, we all see from our perspectives. But that makes a lot of sense to me, though. I mean, what you said about uh, him getting flustered and um, kind of flubbing his words and saying the same thing copy paste, that makes me feel more compassion for him. I felt like, what the fuck just happened, and how is this even possible, like that you say exactly the same thing to someone else. Yeah, because maybe his
yeah,
condition is such that it's so hard for him.
I just think
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, this is working. Why
but I
wouldn't
don't
this
know
work
that
with somebody
Amber.
else?"
We didn't
Yeah,
really
they
get to
didn't
know
show
the
us
other
a lot.
Amber. That's why it was so
They didn't
weird to
show us a
me.
lot. It is
Like maybe
weird,
she
but
was
the
really cool and
producers,
interesting, like I feel like that whole thing was like bizarre that we didn't get to know her. It made him look really bad. Um but maybe if I had seen his
yeah.
expressions and that conversation, I would feel less like he was, like it was intentional, because your analysis makes a lot of
I
sense.
don't I don't think, how do I put this? I think he was just again operating at his base level of
Yeah.
knowledge and understanding of who he is and what like what he's doing. He's from a super small town that can definitely make people
Mm-hmm.
think a certain way. Like he said
Mm-hmm.
like 600 people or something like that.
Oh my God, you're right. That makes me think too
Like
about the racial component. Also, if he's not, I mean, again, I don't know, like, I'm like, maybe he's
I
one of
could be
very few
wrong,
white
but
people. And
also
I
like
don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I really don't know. Only Matt would know. And
Yeah.
even if somebody asked Matt, like I don't feel like somebody on the spot's going to admit to, like who would admit to that? You know what
No.
I
And the
mean?
producers
Unless if
really,
you
I think
just
yeah, sorry. And the producers owed us to see a scene of that conversation between Matt and him, because all we saw of that girl was her crying and being upset. But like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? It felt
and
like we got gypped a
and she
little.
left. She
Yeah,
left. She
exactly.
left
Like,
because
yeah.
because she was like sad that this is another thing that I love about this season in particular. I mean, every season has this, but this season even more so. These women are so for each other, and I
Oh
fucking love it.
yeah.
Like
Oh
they are
yeah.
just so like girls, and like that's why Amber left, because she AD's like, oh yeah, she said exactly this to me too. And then she got upset because she's like, I'm sorry I took that from you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. I'm out. Like she didn't want to pursue Matt any further because she felt sad that well, I'm sure for her own personal reasons, but also because she felt
Yeah.
sad that she hurt a friend, you know? But like, I just
Mm-hmm.
love the girl power. Like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and how Laura comes over to Jessica, this other woman, Laura, this blonde woman who ends up with someone named Jeremy, I think is his name. Um,
Yes.
she came over when Jessica um, basically is not chosen by Jimmy. Chelsea chooses him, and she confides just for the girl power thing. Like Laura comes over and tells Jessica, like Jimmy's not for you, and it's basically her just being a really good friend and not wanting to tell her the full story to hurt her, but just to protect her from what is inevitable pain. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so good.
Mm.
I love this show. I'm
Mm.
excited to
Me
see what
too.
happens next.
Me too. Wait, we got to talk about the other couples a little too. Ken and
Okay.
Brittany. I love them too. Ken and Brittany.
Oh, so
They were
cute.
I
They're so
right?
cute.
Oh my God. And so much they've been through so much. Some of the stories of what these people have been through is just like
Yeah.
the level of trauma and healing and growth. Like, I mean, these literally, it's like watching a tearjerker, just hearing them talk about what happened to them before they were like 10 or 15 years old. Like, they're so, no wonder they're so mature, you know? Like, wow.
Yeah, totally. And then like the cuteness of it. I love how attentive Ken is it, does he go by Ken or Kenneth? I don't remember.
I
But
think
like
Ken,
I just
Ken.
love okay. I love how attentive he is to Brittany. It's like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
King. Like I love
Right?
that
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
it's
my
so
God.
this is what I love about people, like especially people in love. Like you just want to love on the other person and like make their life easier and like do these sweet little things, but to see it like acted out on TV, it's just like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yay, go love.
Yeah, and I love that he's like all of 25 years old. He's like I don't know why people always why do I have to like defend myself when people ask why I want to get married now? Like am I too young? Like he's clearly such an old soul and has been through so much like just how both of them are just so for each other. Yeah, it's so
I
beautiful. Both
know. Oh, and then we
uncommon,
the
uncommon.
so so uncommon. This is such a good
Yeah.
like whoever picked what is casting. Casting was on
Yeah.
it this go around.
Oh yeah.
Last
Oh yeah.
season to me was a train wreck. So this one is such a redemption for me.
I forget. I don't even remember last season. I don't know if it held my attention that long.
No, because it was a train wreck.
Yeah.
Like it was just
Yeah.
I think only two couples end up getting married. It was just weird. It was just weird vibes. The people didn't seem anyways, they were lovely in their own way, but it wasn't what this season is. You know, there's so much like so
Mm.
much here. Who else? Oh, what's Jeremy
Oh
and
yeah.
what's her name? The the
Laura,
blonde
the
woman?
blonde. Yeah.
Laura.
Laura.
They're
Yeah.
cute. I don't know how far they will go,
Me
but they're cute
neither.
initially.
They yeah, they both have the same ideas of like family and I was touched by when they express how, she was like, how do you spend the holiday? Like and he just they share how they wanted to create new traditions and I don't know. I kind of admire that stuff. I just don't think like this. So sometimes I feel like I'm like an alien watching normal people like want these things, but I'm just a
You are not an
weirdo.
alien, my friend.
No, a little bit, but no, it's beautiful. It's so nice to see their, and her commitment to him also was
Yeah.
like, so like she was like you're the one like she had a lot of courage. I love courage and like like all the stuff we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I also love because I am like I just love people who are just like, "Yep, this is it. You're who I want." Like there's no beating around the bush. There's
Mm-hmm.
no like these weird games. Like I don't know. I've just heard
Oh
so many
yeah.
stories of people in dating and the weird games. I'm just like, what is
Yeah.
reality? Like who are these humans doing this? Like why?
I
Like
know.
just be who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. So
It's
much.
mind boggling, but
Yeah.
so
It
we
really
cover
is.
all the Brittany and Ken, Laura
Uh,
and
ch-
Jeremy, Jimmy and Chelsea.
mm-hmm. Oh,
There were two
Johnny and
more.
Amy.
Oh,
Johnny and Amy. Amazing.
Johnny,
Johnny is from New
Johnny and Amy.
Jersey. Amy's from Puerto Rico till she was 5.
Oh my gosh,
He
I
is
freaking
also
love them.
another amazing man. Like his lack of
So
pretension,
amazing.
his lack of ego, his lack of like just singing and like with his just
Oh,
being all out there. I'm like, wow, you are so secure. Another amazing man.
my
Surprising.
favorite
Like,
scene.
wow. Dumb.
My favorite scene of his was when he was playing chess by himself. He's like, "Oh, good job, Johnny," and then he flips the board. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do this, Johnny." And I started laughing so hard. I'm like, "I freaking love you."
Oh.
I feel like those two are absolutely soulmates. Like they are supposed to
Oh
be
yeah.
together.
Oh
When
yeah.
she said
Yeah.
that her father had a dream of her kids having like reddish blonde hair, I got chills. I'm like, "Oh, it's
Oh, you just gave me
meant
you just gave me chills. And when she says when they first meet each other and she's like, "Well, he's not the type of guy like physically who she would normally go for." And the difference between that first meeting and she was already into him but just expressing that, it wasn't her normal type. And then
to
after
be."
first night of the honeymoon, she was like basically like the chemistry is like an 11 out of 10. Like it just went from just was like a light switch. And that I thought that was so beautiful to see and like reassuring for anyone in a relationship where you're like, oh, we didn't have that immediate, like just it, they just prove love is blind right there. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, just I mean
Yeah.
this is what the episode, I mean the series, like Love is Blind as a whole gets right. They're proving over and over and over again that love
Yeah.
truly is blind and love can be blind. Where I think it can get sticky is one, they don't have any therapists or counselors or anybody supporting these couples on their journey to help them
Yeah.
find like a middle common ground if there's friction or whatever. I think that is a huge failure on
Mm-hmm.
the franchise's whole premise, whatever. um and then it gets sticky when people see each other, and then it's like all the vulnerability, all that good softness that is truly them, it's like the ego takes over, and then they start to
Yes.
fight between their ego space and their heart soul space, and then that's where it gets really sticky. But again, I feel like if they had people helping them, a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
marriages would be a success many years down the road.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, yeah, it's so funny that the show, have you ever seen Married at First Sight? Have we ever talked about that show? It's kind of like the
So I
opposite
think I've
premise.
yeah, I have seen, I think, like one full season, and I think I
Hmm.
started watching the second, and then there's honestly just so much out there, and I don't
Yeah,
watch
no,
TV
yeah,
like that, but like I'll watch this
yeah,
stuff when I'm eating dinner because that's like my
yeah,
like I'm eating dinner and my like glass of
yeah.
water.
I do it as
It's like
I'm
a whole
like
thing.
cleaning. Yeah, I do it as I'm cleaning. I like multitask even with this show, I mean, because who has like I can't consecutive I mean, it's just a lot of time. But it's so but
Exactly.
this season, like you said, if you guys are interested in even just watch 15 minutes of the first episode and you'll know if you're interested in more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can stream it very easily. Um,
Hmm.
or
Oh,
like borrow a friend's account.
exactly. I gave mine to so many people during COVID. But now they're like cracking down. Um,
I know.
wait, what about AD and Clay? What do you think about them?
Okay.
Well,
Oh, AD and Clay. Okay, so I really like AD. I think she's really sweet. I think she has such a good head on her shoulders.
hmm.
Like she knows who she is. She's very open about it. Um, from what I've seen so far, I think she's a really cool person. Clay. I I love Clay. There is so much about Clay. Like he's one of those people that you're seeing like in real time literally grow up throughout these episodes,
Yeah.
throughout these consecutive episodes. He comes in as one way as this kind of immature, um overly egoed leading man, and then as the episodes move on, because he really is into AD, he starts to grow and change. He's letting himself cry. He's letting himself be vulnerable. He's really talking about his feelings. He's trying to understand the way he is and why. So I love that in a human, period. Like anybody who's
Yeah.
willing to look at themselves in that way and do that growth and to work on themselves, because that shit is hard. Um, to be confronted with all of the ways, that you need to grow, and he's doing it on national television on that as at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's yeah.
I love him for that. Will they
Hmm.
work out long term? Oh, I don't
I
know.
hope so.
I
I
don't
hope
know.
so. I really hope that he's actually integrating the changes that he seems to be making because, I mean, I know it's just filmed over a short period. I also feel the same way. Like I
Yeah.
really I have mad respect for him and his vulnerability and his trying to be a better person and kind of like owning his stuff. And I love how she calls him out. Like I love the way she calls him out. She's just very funny and very like confident. Another badass woman on the
Yeah.
show. Yeah, me too. I really want I want them to continue this way. I pray for them. I pray for them. That sounds so
Me
intense,
too.
but really,
I
I
No,
really
but
do
it's
love them.
true.
I want them to work out. I'm invested. They're both beautiful people, and I think they have great potential. So I hope so.
Yeah. I want them to work out too. I hope they do work out. I think like she made a comment and this just made me feel one, it was so beautiful that she could admit that, and the way she admitted it, it wasn't like there was even emotion attached to it, just like this is where it is right now for me, but she had said to Clay that she does not feel she deserves love. And it was just very
Oh
like
yeah,
matter of fact as a statement, and like my heart first I was like, you are so badass. I'm so glad that you can like speak your truth like that, because that in itself is even hard to admit like, oh, I don't feel like I'm worthy enough for love. That's huge, you
mm,
know? Like so many people
yeah,
probably feel like that. So I love that she's giving power to other humans who might feel similarly. But then it just breaks my heart because like how do you not feel worthy of love? Everybody deserves love. Even the worst, most evil humans on this planet need love because that's they're lacking it for I mean, that's another whole conversation. But you know, I just feel like anybody who's a human being, re- they deserve love. Like that's a
yeah.
basic necessity as in life.
Yeah. I love that she went deeper with it, right? Looking at the relationship with her father who had passed and then doing the work and talking about going to therapy and stuff. It's funny, Clay's reaction, right? He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Of course you do." Sorry, he's like, "Of course, like yes, of course you do." Like, but I love the way he just makes it so it's like so matter of fact that I almost felt like it's empowering for her to hear it that way, you know,
Yeah,
because
and I
I don't know,
love I
it's
just
yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
I
I
do love
really
that
want them
because
I
he
really
was
want them to work out. I really like him a
me
lot
too.
too. Yeah.
I like him. He is very animated, and I think they actually complement each other very well. And also to go back
Hmm.
to like the whole therapy piece, I love that as black people speaking about going to therapy and getting help and like how it's helping them and why it's good. I think is so huge because I think in older generations of black folk, even I even
Hmm.
see it with my own family members, some of my own family members, like I'm not doing therapy. I'm like, why? You're just talking to
I
somebody
mean, white
about
people are like
stuff
that.
that makes
White people are like totally white people are like that,
there's
and
a
I'm sure it's like
there's a
it's
stigma
everywhere
all over the place,
completely.
like
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
cultures, and it's just like fascinating to
Yeah.
me. It's like, why you're just getting help? Like it doesn't make you bad,
Like
or
we all
it
need
doesn't make
it.
any. It is all of us need
We
somebody,
all need
even if
it.
it's not a
Yeah.
100%, even if it's not like an actual therapist or a counselor, somebody who's a really safe space, somebody who has your best interests at heart, somebody who's more healed so they're not going to project their ish onto you would be
Hmm.
beneficial. And you can feel that when somebody's talking, you're like, oh wait, that doesn't resonate for me, you know? But like I love that they're talking about therapy though, because I think it's
Yeah.
something that will help us as a society go to where we're trying to go, like more love, more healing, more vulnerability, more
Hmm.
being safe to not be okay and being able to talk about it without being chastised and penalized and all the things. So I
Hmm.
love that part because people
Yeah.
who are younger are just more open and like, yep, I'm doing therapy. Like so I do
Yeah.
love seeing
Yeah.
like through this because I am not a 20 something or even 30 something person anymore.
Same.
And when
Hmm.
I was in my 20s and 30s, it was so wildly different. Um
Totally.
so I'm loving seeing younger people just really just step I don't know, it's just the healing that's coming with
Yeah.
these younger generations I freaking love. Like and this, I mean, from what we see on this this TV show at
It,
least, but I see it through
totally.
social media too, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah, I love that it's so much more acceptable now and applauded and appreciated. And gosh, I wish wish it had been back in the day, you know? But
Seriously.
actually yeah, that just made me think of Chelsea actually, because I don't know, I might have said something not that nice about her earlier, but really like what I don't know what I said exactly, but about Chelsea, uh, my first reaction with her and I is like I wish she would have some therapy because she clearly is a beautiful person with so much insecurity and like she's so badly wanted to get married. Like she would have said yes to Trevor if he asked her first, like for sure, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Like
Yep, totally.
right? Like she just wanted someone to love her
To
and
love.
she's open about it. Yeah, like but it's kind of heartbreaking because you can see that she needs to do the inner work before she's ready to or find someone to do the work with or like Trevor would have been great. I really hope they still have a chance because I feel like he would be patient with her
Me
and
too.
help support her.
Me too.
We want I feel like
100%.
everybody has a person.
I do agree with that. Everybody who wants a person has a person, I feel. And I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
also, I don't know, like there's that whole, you need to be healed before you're with a partner. I don't necessarily believe that because I was not who I am today is not who I was 17 years ago when I met my person. And like we together helped each other grow and we're going to keep doing that. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think,
No, I
I
think
mean, granted,
yeah.
I was doing work on myself before we met, but not to the caliber and the depth I have done the work since we've been together. Like it became even more because you have somebody like who is like a mirror to you. So anything that you reflect that's negative, anything you put out there, it's just like, oh, I'm being a jackass right now. Or like I'm being
Totally.
insecure or whatever, like how can I
Yeah.
so yeah, I think you can do it with somebody, but it has to be the right
Yeah.
person who's going to hold
Yeah.
space and have compassion. But I do agree, Trevor
Totally.
was the one. I just wish
Yeah.
that she had picked Trevor.
Me too. Because
Makes me
it's
sad that
Jimmy
she's
is
with Jimmy.
definitely, yeah, Jimmy is definitely not the one for her.
I mean, he's
I'm
not a
sure.
bad dude on any level, but
No,
like
no, they're
they're
not
just not
compatible.
matched. Yeah,
No,
I agree. They're not matched
they're not
well.
long term match. Yeah, they're like, yeah. I don't know. I did feel so much for her though. Like I wanted her to get help because like, the way she starts crying over small things and is so it's like she can't believe that someone said I love you. Like it's like that becomes the point instead of like how she feels. It's all about how the person needs to love her instead of her loving the person. It makes me think like, okay, do you love yourself? Like, you know? Sorry, I'm not
Exactly
trying to be
that
all.
right
I
there.
felt compassion for her. I mean, they're all.
No,
She's a
it's
beautiful person. You know, I just don't want her to be with the wrong person.
but you know what? Like everything like I just have everything happens the way it's going to happen and I think
Yeah.
regardless of what happens in the future with these couples or these people, I think just first of all, putting yourself out there, being on social media, being in the
Oh
public
yeah.
eye through a worldwide syndicated show because Netflix is worldwide.
Yeah.
That's growth in and of itself. So even and they
Yeah.
filmed this like a year ago, almost like 9 months ago, give or
Oh
take.
yeah.
So I'm sure from that moment, maybe she's like could take a look at herself like, oh, now I can understand and now I can like she'll seek help. So
Yeah.
like
I
maybe this is the
yeah.
catalyst for her and all of them, the catalyst for all of
Totally.
them to really see themselves and then to
Totally.
grow.
Totally. I can't even
So there's
imagine the
magic in
kind of
that.
pressure. Yeah, I can't even imagine the pressure of doing this on camera. I have so much respect and love for every single person and anything that I say. Like I really am just saying it with love and the best wishes for everyone. I want everybody to be happy.
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
totally. Life. Life. This
oh,
is like a nice. I think one of the reasons also why I like it is because like this lets me, aside from meditation, which I highly recommend, and I'm getting better in my meditation practice as being more consistent with it. But shows like this is
mhm.
like I don't pick up my phone when I'm watching it. Like, I am just in it and like just enjoying it and being like, oh no, what? Ah, like reacting as it goes on, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So thank you,
Yeah.
TV gods, for bringing us Love is Blind.
Yeah, now I'm excited to watch the next episodes, however many are in this
Me
on this next
too.
drop.
Me too.
Mm.
Dinner time, because I still have like a work day after this.
Oh yeah, I got stuff to do, but soon. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us.
Yes, let us know your thoughts, your comments, anything. Do you guys watch Love is Blind? Is it something you would consider watching? Why do you hate reality shows? I don't know. Just let us know anything. Email us
Yeah,
at
who are your?
heartfirst.podcast@gmail.com. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I think it's the lag that we have. Yeah, and let us know your favorite
Mm-hmm.
couples. Who are your favorite couples? We'd love to know.
Yes.
And
Yeah, my
maybe it'll
top two
change
right
next.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. It could. I love Brittany and Ken and Amy and Johnny.
Yeah. I think those might be mine too. All AD and Clay.
Oh yeah, I love AD and Clay too.
Yeah,
I
I don't
pray
know
for
why.
them.
Yeah, Jeremy and Laura just didn't grab my attention as much somehow. Um,
Yeah, same.
I'm just not a huge like. They're nice people. It's just they didn't grab my attention. Yeah. But that's
Yeah, same.
yeah, yeah. And I'm hoping that when they meet so wouldn't it be great if they meet if somehow Trevor and I'm still dreaming because I do think that they meet each other that
They do. I know that because
Chelsea right
that's
Chelsea
yeah.
and Jessica and Jimmy. Who knows?
Who knows? Fingers crossed. Look at us trying to like
Yeah.
match make people.
I know.
Okay.
I'm like,
Thanks,
okay, I'm
friends,
not
for
gonna watch.
listening.
Thank you. We'll catch you soon. Have a beautiful week, everybody. We love you. Bye.
Bye.